I don't know how to make sure it's recording.
We're live.
Hey, everyone. So we're actually going live here. And I don't do this often, but I get this question all the time about how to and how did I create the studio, great videos, all that sort of stuff. And as much as I wish I could take credit for it, I can't. It's this guy that I've got here, my secret weapon, Ryan Grams. Great to have you here today, buddy.
I'm glad to be here, man. This is a lot of fun. It's been a wild ride these last few months, man.
Yeah, what's funny is we were getting ready for this and like, what do we do? I was like, well, let's just do what we normally do, except record it because I'll be very transparent. This is probably going to be a little bit of a geek session in terms of what we do and how we do it. But I think if you're listening to this, this is really, if you're looking to make a bigger impact on the social media virtual platform, or even just virtually through Zoom or StreamYard or whatever services you use, Ryan is the one that has truly given me the insights. And I say secret weapon because I know that every call I get on, people say, gosh, you look like you're on TV. And that was the entire goal. So I remember when this all came down, I called Ryan because I lost all my events, and Ryan, people stopped making movies and films and video and said, you know what, let's pivot each other. I'll pivot you and you pivot me. And it's been probably some of the coolest 9 months I've had in my career.
Yeah, it's definitely been exciting, man. I remember very distinctly coming over to your place for the first time, and you're like, dude, we need to find the right way to take some of these tools. I got this camera, I got this Canon camera, I've got this. Can we do something with it? Can we use this on these virtual meetings and whatnot? I'm like, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we could probably spend a ton of money buying a bunch of gear, but trying to figure out what could we do with some of the regular tools that we already had to get started. And I don't know how that first session, that must have been like all day, right?
Yeah. Well, you said you came at it. We were trying to figure it out. And the thing was, is that I think the question I get is just, oh, I've got a camera. Can I just plug it in? And what you showed me was that these cameras, and nobody was ready to take a camera to stream it. And that was, they didn't have the right plugs. They didn't have the right settings. And you came back to me the first time 18 hours later saying, let's Zoom. And I was like, oh my God, I need that. And it was like, ever since then, I was like, we need to create this sort of high definition experience.
Yeah. It was really cool to see there were some tools out there, especially on the camera side, that we could get that were able to really help us level the quality up without spending, a ton of money on studio level cameras. It's just finding the right stuff. Like the same, I think you're using the M50. I think right now I'm using the M200, which are both Canon mirrorless cameras, that are under $1,000, and just finding the right ways to get them hooked into our system. And
that's the hard part, because you can get them cheap.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, yeah, I got the camera. I'm like, I don't know how to help you. It's like, all I know is I see wires everywhere. And that's, it's one of those things I was wondering if these companies are going to like catch up to say, can you make just a plug and play system? But then by then everyone's going to have it. And so I don't know. I think that, for me, people ask, why did I do the studio? Why did I spend the time and the energy and the money, honestly, to create this? And it came down to one simple reason. The value that I brought to the table depended on me being in person with people, flying on an airplane, and not having that. And the reality was that when I was on, let me see if I can switch to my webcam, right? I was on this webcam here, and this isn't even bad lighting, but you can see everything behind me. It sucked. And you couldn't really connect with people. And I wanted to try to recreate as much of the in-person experience, meaning I could see you, I could see the facial expressions, I could see the detail. And because we love doing that. We watch TV shows, we watch everything. I've said it 1,000 times. So it's not about virtual is bad or virtual is hard, or even they say it's new. It's just new for us.
Yeah.
And that, in fact, not you. It's new for people like me. And so when I can't, if you're watching this right now, listen to what Ryan's got to talk about. And if you don't have access to a Ryan, find somebody that understands the lighting, have them help you with the lighting. Find somebody that understands audio, spend as much money as you can on audio, get a good camera. But then the hard part, I mean, to be honest, I think there's a new role out there. There's a new profession, which is the hybrid film video person and technologist. Because the film person, the video guy, or gal takes video and they put it on an SD card, right? And they take that SD card to an editing software, and that's where they work their magic, and then they hand it back in some way, shape, or form where it's there. In a virtual world, you don't have the luxury of editing.
Yeah.
It has to be ready to go. The lighting has to be ready to go, and then it has to enter technology, which is where video people don't typically understand how streaming technology works, how the internet works, and all of that stuff. It just became just mind-boggling. But the person that can understand both is a rare one. I know two. You're one of them. The other one is Ryan Christensen.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right, man. Like, well, and you said, yeah, I knew some of the techniques about the lighting, all this kind of stuff, but even for me, it was a whole new world of bringing all of that knowledge, all these ideas, and applying it right in this way to be able to help guys like you not have to have a crew there present every time you want to go live. Because I mean, it seems like almost daily you're doing something, right? So you need to be able to walk in and be ready, right, and have the lights there, have the camera there, and not have to have a crew there to get the thing prepped for you.
Absolutely. And that was the biggest value, because people said, I'm literally kicking out 5-6 videos a week, and to walk in, click a couple buttons, hit record, and for the lighting to be right, the audio to be right. And then, I've had to learn how to edit. I've had to learn how to do just basic minor editing, starting and stopping things, clipping them, and having a general idea, and then how to export it. It's like, why are you learning this, Rene? I said, well, if your business required a new software, if you're in the mortgage industry and you had a no loan origination software, you'd have to learn that too. Mm-hmm. And so all of us now have to have some of those basics. And if you can't afford to have somebody else to do it, to me, it wasn't even about affording, honestly. It was about, I had a vision of how I wanted it to look. Mm-hmm. And for me to sit and the real videos I work with you, I work with Tristan. Those are the videos that I can't do. But if there's a story I'm trying to tell,
yeah,
that was something I wanted to have control over. And I think some of us that are watching too probably feel the same way of like, how do I do that? But you got to go through the process and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the lighting, the microphone, the camera, all those pieces kind of coming together, they form this polished look, you know what I mean? And it's yeah, it's been really neat to see guys like you apply it in such a cool way, because your content is so good, and so then we have this kind of foundation of a quality setup. It really, I think, adds a lot more professionalism and polish, to the work.
Well, I think it even goes beyond professionalism. It's like people are like, well, I want to be professional. I think it goes back into, are you even capturing attention? And I'm not saying capturing attention like, ha, look at me. There are basic things. If we're watching let's say you went to a movie theater, okay? Mm-hmm. They've done everything for lighting and camera, and the actors, you know who they are. But the okay.
You're getting good at that.
Not working. You even thought I was doing. You thought I was going on. For a second, you got scared that I messed up his audio. No, but if the audio isn't there, the movie's over. It doesn't matter if the actor's great and the lighting's great. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they showed up professionally, because they showed up professionally. But then if the lighting is off, imagine I do this all the time. Like, you show up to your calls like this, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, no, you can trust me. This is going to be good. I've worked with people a long time. And so let's talk about the psychology of sunglasses for a minute, because this is a fascinating one.
Okay. All right.
If I was on the phone wearing sunglasses, would you care?
No, not at all. Of course.
Not at all. And so this is sunglasses is the equivalent, of poor lighting, right? It's the equivalent of this. Mm-hmm. And so when I have poor lighting and sunglasses, there's an expectation on your part to be able to see me. So it's the expectation, number one. And the expectation, I should be able to see you and look you in the eye. And why do I want to look you in the eye? Because the eye conveys meaning. Mm-hmm. Is what I choose to trust you or not. And if you're hiding the one thing that conveys meaning, what else are you hiding? And now it's done unintentionally, where people are just here, or they wear a glass or a hat, not your hat. Your hat is used to your eyes, but the hats that are the brims, they hide that stuff. And so, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can, exactly. Yeah, you can trust this guy. Just a quarter inch makes a huge difference. Yeah. And that's a lighting issue. And so even movies that are too dark and you can't see what's going on, what happens is we begin to disassociate from that. and we can't see anymore. And so, Ryan, talk to me, because this is I get so excited about what you've allowed me to do. I mean, this is truly, if you're watching this, I'm now allowed to express this because of Ryan's genius. And when you, and I know you hate when I say that, you actually like it a little bit, though. There's a little bit you like it. You're like, hey, come on, stop. But like the fun part has been the innovation, because none of this really existed before. What has been the most exciting part about all this?
Honestly, the best part about it is seeing the end results, seeing the folks that I'm working with, the way their face lights up when they see themselves. I talk a lot about the confidence that I'm helping people establish, in these things, because a lot of folks don't like hopping on Zoom meetings or Teams meetings. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like or they just won't turn their camera on because they don't like how they look, and it can be frustrating too, because I really like being able to see people. And I know we're not, we don't all have great setups, but even with a not great setup, I'd still rather be able to have this virtual meeting and seeing you. So for me to be able to, the folks that I'm helping, once I'm watching them on their webcam, and then we'll hook up their camera and they'll get everything turned on, and we're doing all this over Zoom typically. And then they'll see themselves and they'll just go, oh, you kind of see like their feathers ruffle up a little bit, and I just, it's really cool, because it's that sense of confidence that they're getting in themselves a little bit, to now they can't wait to turn the camera on. You know what I mean?
And that confidence shows up in how they deliver a message. That's what I love the most.
Yeah.
Because now they're on with their clients, and the clients are like, wait a minute, wow. And there's a sense of being sort of impressed, right? And not that trying to be impressive, but it's like, wow, this is really impressive. And if they're impressing me with the technology that they've adapted this quickly, they're probably going to adapt to my needs. They're probably going to adapt to market trends. And this is somebody I can trust. And so when we start displaying, I think this is what I'm hearing you say too, is displaying some of those values and those attributes during times like this, clients start building trust faster, and they start associating it to other attributes of the business relationship.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. A mutual friend of ours, Josh, him and I were chatting about this idea of confidence. He really liked the idea that confidence goes both ways. Right. Yeah. And I think this is exactly what you're saying. But that idea of confidence, it shows up to you, but then on the other side of that conversation, they're hopefully getting some that confidence has come across, and they're building confidence in you themselves too. You know what I mean? It's a pretty neat idea.
I think it's cool. And the other side to it, I think, is what we both had to do in our first conversations. And I urge everybody, is like, I went to you and I was like, what if, and I wrote this little post-it note, what if Zoom calls felt like movies, right? And they had the attributes of movies, and I called you and you go, oh, okay, we're going to make a movie. Or what if keynotes felt like a movie? I'm like, no, stop thinking like a film producer. And I got to stop thinking like a keynote speaker.
Yeah.
We got to be in the middle. And like your value in terms of what you've brought from the film world, and because film is about capturing attention, it's about creating tension and conflict in a story arc, and telling stories and eliciting emotions, and through music. I mean, you're using all the senses. What are you foreseeing when it comes to these Zoom calls and starting to just slowly upgrade? Because you're launching a company that is, I think, ingenious. CALLupgrade. And CALL stands for something. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, CALL, CALL, camera, audio, lighting, and location. And those are the things that my company is helping folks upgrade. So it's not just, like you said earlier, not just having the right camera, not just having the right microphone, not just having the right lights, but knowing how to use them. And then location, that's about this box, right? What's showing up behind you? You and I have spent a ton of time together in your studio and some of the other stuff that we shot in your living room, some of the core stuff. And it's like, okay, what is the background saying about you? You know what I mean? And finding that balance between not being distracting, but still having some, character in it. You want to zoom out for a second so we can show off our whole sets?
Sure. Yeah, there we go. And just a side note, I got a funny text from my boy Zeke, and Zeke was like, hey, when did you guys record this live? I'm fixing this so I can see where that light. And I'm like, we're live now, dude. Let's see if he's responding. And so I think people think that this is a pre-recorded thing that we're airing, and that's the thing, is no, this is live now. And so I saw Miguel commenting, and Kimberly Calvo, we love you. And so yeah, this is live. you can look like this. That's the part that's cool. You can sound like this. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You're back to the backdrops.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michelle Castle commented too. She same thing. She was one of the first clients that I was working with, and she had this awesome office, right? And she had this really cool painting in the background. And we spent a lot of time just finding the exact right spot to place the camera to properly take advantage of her space and create a balanced frame. You know what I mean? So in this case here, you know, you've got this. You know, we worked a lot to get your backdrop dialed in there. So we've got a dark gray paper backdrop, just perfectly gray.
10 hours, I think you spent.
Yeah, it was a long day. And then we put these cool little light bars in the bottom to add this splash back there, you know, and Rene's setup it's ultra pimping because he can do all kinds of cool colors and stuff.
Let's show how pimping it is. Ready?
Oh boy.
And let's go. I'm just kind of in a, you know, sort of a red mood right now. How's that feel?
Wow, you're
we'll change that. We'll leave that red for a little bit.
I like it.
You gave me this one too. Sorry, hold on. You gave me this one.
It's just like a really, really general, but now that I'm seeing it here, yeah, it's pretty plain Jane.
Pretty general.
But it's a nice little dramatic sort of thing too. And then there's stuff like this that you've seen. You know, if we want to have an instant pop-up physical backdrop, you know.
That's so
I'm always
cool.
wearing black, so it's always like a bit of a floating head, but I like doing that a lot. Yeah, okay. So location being the space that you're in, and again, going back to Michelle Castle on there, you know, she had this really cool painting, but it was like, okay, how much of it do we show? Where do we get the right angle? And so I'm taking all this experience from film and video production, right, in the same way that we would approach doing a shot, setting the art direction, finding the right angle for the camera. It's the same principles that we're applying to this new virtual world. And it's a lot of fun and working with folks with all kinds of different backdrops. And a lot of times it's like, okay, you got some cool stuff going on there, but it's a lot. Can we dial it back? Can we simplify it a little bit? You know, and that's always been a struggle for me. I've got, you know, my Wally robot and my Guitar Hero guitar back there, you know, and
yeah, but that's all you. That's
it's totally me. Yeah, exactly. But I used to have like a lot more. So we spent a lot of time just getting this dialed in, and it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it.
Well, and I like how you help others simplify too. Are you seeing all the weird comments we're getting from somebody?
I'm looking. Yeah, here. Yeah. Rick Rock.
Oh, Rick.
How you doing, Rick?
Where are you seeing those? Not Rick's not the weird one. Someone says, here, look at this one. I don't know who this person is, but I think we're getting spammed. So we're gonna have to. I have no idea where it's at. So we're streaming one of those places. But yeah, no, I think that people paying attention to that backdrop, because I love this is the blue that you gave me here, because it fits the brand, it fits everything that
totally
we're trying to create, and it's so simple. And when I have clients over too, like I've got a couple that are coming. I'm going to be asking them, like, dude, can we get their brand colors up here? I want to have a brand color, so that for me selling an event, I can be like, well, we can tailor the studio to your brand colors. Hit that button, and their colors show up right there. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting the stuff dialed in, and yeah, taking again the same sort of approach that I would if I was doing a commercial for 3M. I'm definitely going to try to work that logo in the background a little bit there, you know. And we've been having a lot of fun too with the different screen stuff. We got to get your iMac hooked up here yet, but yeah, you got the ones that can float overlay, and I've been working on stuff that we can do with screens in the background. So this is the CALLupgrade.
Did we get that creepy one yet? Going?
Oh no, it's not ready yet. I've been playing with it. I got the clip. We bought it.
Okay, good.
There's a really, I don't know. I honestly don't know how Rene's going to use this thing. I'm not going to.
Oh, I know exactly how many.
I'm not going to spoil it, but he's going to start, having another weird tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's one to create tension. So.
Ooh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah. And so, and can you elicit emotion this way? And so that's a real quick example of how you can do that. So I for those of you watching, thanks. I mean, we've had up to 20 viewers, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah. It sounds so small. We're like, we had 28, but no advertisement. I think that's pretty cool. But thank you guys for watching. But I think Ryan and I are going to be doing this more. We're actually starting a podcast too. This was a 2021 vision was mine, was to have the Amplify podcast. And I was thinking, I'm like, God, some of my favorite podcasts have a great co-host, but I needed somebody that was actually smart, that understood my work, and that could, banter back and forth. It was great on camera. And I was like, I don't know anyone like that. And I'd been wrestling with that for, close to a year. And I was on the phone with Ryan, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's you, man. And so it literally, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I'm so excited that we're going to have this podcast together.
It's
and
fun, man.
Yeah, because it's going to be a focus on, what Amplify is, but also the importance of the call upgrade in today's world. And people are saying, I heard somebody say the other day, they go, wow, I'm so over the Zoom stuff. And I got sad for them. I'm thinking they haven't yet embraced the reality. And what you're doing, Ryan, is only just beginning. And I know that I admire your tireless effort nonstop on trying to figure out a cost-effective way to do this, because the other companies aren't doing it. Yeah. And people look at the ingenuity behind the designs that you're creating, and how do you make, like right now, just you've given me the gift of looking through a camera, like a teleprompter. I mean, I've never seen anybody else do that yet. Talk about innovation. Instead of people just put words up there, we're putting our Zoom calls up there. Now I can look at you right in the eye, and we're having a great conversation. And so right now, for me, looking at what we're going to do together, the importance of your work is so critical. If you're watching this, reach out to Ryan. And the company hasn't even fully launched yet, so he's working with people one-on-one. But I know that you're extremely backed up too right now. How backed up are you right now?
We're on about a 5-week, basically, if we get a new order for us to build a package. A lot of the work we're doing right now is building these custom packages. Yeah. And so it's about a 5-week turnaround right now for us to get one shipped out to you. But it's good. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, we are having a lot of conversations. So if you're interested, CALLRY, CALLRY.com/book is a way to kind of set a meeting with me.
CALLRY.com/book. CALLRY, CALLRY.com/book, right?
Yeah, exactly.
.com/book. Yeah. Do that, guys. If he's booking up now at 5 weeks, it's going to be there. And this is another conversation I had. Somebody said, wow, it's like, to have that setup, it's like $5,000. I'm like, yeah, like kind of an intro basic setup, but you're going to look better than everyone else. And like, but it's $5,000. I'm like, hey, real quick, how much did you spend on your build out of your office? Lighting and the screens and everything. Oh, so about 15, 20 grand. I'm like, wow, how many people are in that office right now? No one. This is the new office. And this right here is the new office. And it is nothing to be able to show up this way and to affect customers. Now, if you're in a low price point business, then it might not make sense, right? I mean, this is all, can you velocitize the investment? I mean, you got to make that piece, but you have my fullest endorsement. You've had it. You're part of every single one of my conversations. People think we have a financial relationship. We don't. We help each other out. I still write you a lot of checks, and I still talk about you because I love you to death. And I think you're one of the best people in this space. You are the best person in this space for me, but you're a good human too, brother. And I look forward to us taking this to the next level, continuing to innovate. And I think we got to do this more, man. This is a lot of fun.
Dude, absolutely, man. This is great. Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we close?
No, dude, I think this is a fantastic first little stab at going live. You know, we've been doing all these things for our Zoom calls, but the great thing about these setups is it's the ultimate live streaming setup as well. You know, and I think we just kind of proved it to ourselves, which, you know, I think it's kind of cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. We're at 20 followers and we got 1 like, dude. We're good.
Holla, we got a like? Oh my goodness. Next time we better get 2 likes.
Yeah. Hey, you know, little improvements. We lost somebody though. We're at 19. We'll get good at this. Love you, brother. And thank you all for watching. And again, call Rye. I should probably have some button that says, can you put
I can make you a button? Yeah.
I can do mine, but I don't know if it'll show up. Let's see. Yeah,
we're zoomed in. You got to zoom out.
So anyways, thanks all. Ryan, we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rene. We'll talk again.
Take care. See you guys.